A couple of weeks ago, I interviewed the legendary Psycho Sid, and I almost shit myself because I
Oh.
couldn't believe how fucking massive he was.
Mhm.
Uh, but I've always been a mark for the '90s stuff, and especially for Sid. And going back and watching his stuff as an adult, you realize he was actually pretty good in the ring. So, what do you think of the opinion that's been going around that Sid is actually uh, maybe one of the most underrated ever?
I think Sid was good for a big man. Excuse me. I don't. He wasn't very technical at all. He was a lot of punches, a lot of slams, a lot of strong move stuff. Kind of running roughshod over his opponents because he was so massive. I mean, legit, what 6'9", 320 in his prime. Um, Sid to me was a little sloppy sometimes with his punches and kicks. I mean, I remember when he was in the skyscrapers, but in fairness to him back then, when I first started watching him, even in Continental Wrestling as Lord Humongous, he was new. So I kind of, when he would screw up a move or whatever, whatever, that goes on. But I don't know if Sid ever got his skill set much better when he got pushed as the Millennial Man or Millennium Man back in WCW's dying days when he was the champion. Before he broke his what was his femur bone or his leg in that famous thing that happened. He was getting pushed, and he's always been over. I remember even when he did some appearances in ECW in the late '90s, he was over. And when the crowd, you thought ECW would piss all over a guy like that because he didn't have the skill set, technically, but and he wasn't like that kind of wrestler. But the crowd just always loved Sid. So when he was a good guy, he was over.
Yeah.
But I think here's the thing, in my opinion, with Sid. I think he maybe the WWE hasn't put him in the Hall of Fame yet, or they haven't duked him. They invited him back for a couple angles here and there, but nothing. They don't really make a big deal of it. I think Sid rubbed some people the wrong way back in the day. That's no secret. He some guys behind the scene weren't big fans of his. So it's a popularity contest in wrestling too. That's why when you ask yourself, why is this one in the Hall of Fame? Why is King Kong Bundy and Bam Bam Bigelow and Sid not in the Hall of Fame? I could answer that question. Some of the people behind the scenes didn't care for them then or now. Even in death, they don't. They'll put them in eventually, but it wasn't a big rush job because everyone says, why isn't Sid in the Hall of Fame? I think it's some people behind the scenes are preventing that. But we don't know what went on with those guys back in the day. Some people like each other, some people don't like each other. But he deserves to be in the Hall of Fame because as a name, he was over, and he for a big man, he was one of the best. So yeah, I think he'll eventually get in. It's when Vince decides that he's not annoyed by somebody anymore, then he'll let him in the Hall of Fame.